Good evening, everyone. My name is Trevor Tyler. I'm the Vice President of Beverage for La Popular. I am also the Commodore or the guy in charge, however you want to call it, for the La Popular Agave Spirits Club. Welcome to our inaugural virtual tasting featuring PATRÓN. Tonight we will be talking all things PATRÓN with we're super honored to have the Master Distiller PATRÓN, David Rodriguez, here with us, as well as a couple other people from the PATRÓN team to talk about all things PATRÓN, also to talk about our wonderful PATRÓN Barrel Select Añejo, which we'll be tasting in a minute. So hopefully everyone has their bottles ready and you're able to pick up. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining our club. This is a brand new club for the La Popular restaurants. You may be familiar with our sister restaurant, Eureka, where we operate a whiskey club, and we've been operating that for the past 5 years, maybe a little bit more. And we've done these once a month for the past 5 years, talking about all things whiskey. So we're excited to bring you these virtual tastings, talking all things agave. The club is going to feature a different agave spirit every single month, predominantly tequila, but we will be throwing some other things in there throughout the year. To highlight some other agave spirits, so mostly tequila. We're starting off again with an añejo from PATRÓN. I want to talk just a little bit about the club and the perks that you get for being a member of the club. So if you don't know already, obviously once a month you're going to get a bag that comes with a bottle of tequila, a card that tells you all about the tequila, some swag from the distillery, and just some goodies and access to these calls as well. On these calls, we also do give away a couple prizes. I'll get into that in a minute and kind of break down exactly how that works. In addition to being a member and getting all the bottles and the info on the tequila and all that stuff, you also get access to our monthly Agave Club happy hours, which happen on the third Thursday of every month from 5 to 7 p.m., where you're able to come to the restaurant, pick up your monthly bag, and then mingle with the other members, get some complimentary appetizers, and and just enjoy the club and everyone's company and get to know people that are passionate about agave spirits and the club. So we're hoping to see you at the next one, which will be next Thursday on the 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. And you also get 15% off dining and drinks at our restaurant. So anytime, as long as you're an active member, you come into the restaurant, you get 15% off for up to you and up to 6 guests. So you and five other guests, you can get 15% off your bill, including food and drinks. That does not include happy hour discounts or any discounted items such as like Taco Tuesday or anything like that, but anything other than that, you do get 15% off your bill. So I want to get into the prizes before we introduce our esteemed guests of this evening. So if you're joining us live from YouTube or Facebook, you have the ability to type in questions for our guests, and we will try to get to as many questions as possible. At the last 20 minutes of every call, we dedicate to questions from the audience, where we'll ask some hand-picked questions from the comment section on Facebook and YouTube to our esteemed guests, and we will then pick our favorite 2 questions of the night and give away a couple prizes. So the first place prize we have tonight is and both bottles tonight are signed by David Rodriguez, the Master Distiller of PATRÓN. The first bottle we have is the PATRÓN El Alto, which is a Reposado, beautiful bottle. This is signed by Senor Rodriguez. And then we also, on top of that first place prize, we have some extra swag, PATRÓN shirt, a hoodie, I think a squeezer, like a fruit juice squeezer, and some other really cool swag from PATRÓN. Second place, you're going to get, also signed by Senor Rodriguez, is PATRÓN Cristalino. You can see his signature right there. This will go to the second place prize. So go ahead and get your questions into the comment section on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be handpicking some questions to ask at the end of the call. In addition to the bag that you get every month, we will also be releasing some other tequilas throughout the year that are available for purchase on top of your membership. One of the ones that we released already was the Cascanes Reposado that is available. I think maybe one of the restaurants is currently sold out, but other restaurants should have some bottles available. So you also have access to exclusive bottles to purchase on top of your membership. throughout the year. So that's kind of a rundown of the club. We're really excited for you to be part of this and to come with us on this journey of all things agave spirits. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on the Patron team. We have Master Distiller David Rodriguez. Welcome, David.
Hi, nice to meet you, everybody. Thank you for joining this conversation. I am so happy to be here with you.
Awesome. And then can we bring on our other two guests really quickly for just some introductions? Roberto Nunez, which is our global brand ambassador. And then, is that right, Roberto? Sorry if I messed that up.
Yeah, that's right. I'm very honored to be here, Trevor. Amazing job with this Agave Social Club. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And Steven, thank you for the invite, too.
And then Steven Puente, who's our national account manager for all things Patron and Bacardi. Steven, do you want to just quickly maybe give a quick introduction for Roberto and David, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trevor, for having us. We're really excited to be the first tequila that you guys will be featuring at the inaugural Agave Club for La Popular. I'm the national account manager for Patron and Bacardi for all of La Popular restaurants. And really, really honored today to have David Rodriguez, our master distiller for Tequila Patron, and then Roberto Nunez, our U.S. national brand ambassador for Patron. Both gentlemen are from Guadalajara, Jalisco, the home of tequila, where Patron is made. So they've grown up with it. It's basically in their veins. So we're really excited to have them. They know everything there is to know about tequila. So without further ado, I'd love you guys to take it over and let's go.
Awesome. Thank you, Steven. Roberto, you had I would just love, David, just if you could give us just a quick background on yourself, and then Roberto, please do the same. Just kind of your history in the tequila industry, kind of where your journey started, and how you got to where you are today. I guess, Roberto, you want to start, and then we can go to David?
Of course. Thank you, Trevor. I have over 20 years working in the industry. I've been in the last years in tequila, but as Steven mentioned, we have tequila in our veins since we were born in the land of agave. I started working in the industry because my family used to own some restaurants in Jalisco and Michoacan. Then I moved to Spain, also working in the industry, Italy, and then back to Mexico. And eventually I moved to Boston. I was working in restaurants and bars for many years. I also jumped into the beer industry, and I was working in the beer industry before joining Patron. And for the last 5 years, I've been in this role as the national brand ambassador for Patron here in the US, and assisting a little bit globally.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for your time.
Of course.
David, please tell us about yourself and your journey in the tequila industry.
Yes, thank you so much, Trevor. First, I am a biologist. My career started 31 years ago because I worked for the Tequila Regulatory Council, the CRT. My first job in that point was to check the quality according with the standards. I met at that time Francisco Alcaraz, who was the first master distiller of Tequila Patron. And then when I spent only 5 years in the CRT, and then moved to the tequila industry. One day I received a call from Francisco Alcaraz to be part of the team. It was happening in 2002. That's why I have 23 years with the Tequila Patron. My first position in Tequila Patron was production manager, moved to the production director, general manager, and when Francisco retired in 2019, I took the place as a master distiller in 2020. That's why I have 5 years as a master distiller.
Wonderful. And you said that you worked for the CRT before you worked for Patron. Is that correct?
Correct, exactly.
I guess, how did that experience influence your understanding of kind of the industry, the quality, the compliance, and the responsibility within the category?
Well, when my first job as an inspector in the CRT is to check all the procedures according with the regulation. But when I saw the process from different companies, at least was at that time 45 distilleries. Right now we have more than 205, 206. But at that time, my experience was to I love the process, tequila process, and that's why my dream is to work to make tequila, not to check the quality of tequila. That's why my opportunity to go to the tequila industry was in a short time after the CRT, and that's why right now I am here to enjoy this beautiful journey with Patron.
Well, again, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you being here. I understand that you have just a presentation you wanted to go through regarding the brand and what Patron represents, and let's dive in. So this is the Patron Masterclass, and who better to give the masterclass than the Master Distiller, Senor Rodriguez. So, David, please take it away, and let's dive into all things Patron.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, let me start with our story in Patron. Patron was born in 1994. Is no more than 31 years ago. Let me say, Patron is a young brand if we compare with another brands as Cuervo, Sauza, Don Julio, etc. In a short time, Tequila Patron, according with the production style, how we make our tequila, we grow a lot because before in 1980s, the maximum production or the consumption was for the tequila, the mixtos tequila. Patron was a key component because when we started in 2000, in 2002, we grow more than 100% every year by year. What happened between, okay, if you say Patron was born in 1999, okay? What happened 1999 to 2002? At that time, Tequila Patron was made for another tequila distillery in Atotonilco, El Alto, Jalisco. In the next slide, we will see where is Los Altos, where is Jalisco, etc. But a story starts in the tequila, our facilities, because we produced the tequila through 2002 to now in our Hacienda Patron. Hacienda Patron is in the Jalisco state. If you see, next slide, please, Roberto. Tequila Patron, according with the production regions, we have 5 states that we can produce tequila. But tequila is produced, the most state that produced is in Jalisco because it has 125 municipalities. If you see, it's in let me see, dark green, Jalisco. And the next slide, we can see where is exactly Jalisco. Jalisco and where is Atotonilco El Alto. Why we call Los Altos de Jalisco or Highlands of Jalisco is because first is in the top of the state. The second point is according with the sea level, Atotonilco is around 1,600 meters. That's why this is another situation. If we compare with the lowlands, lowlands is the Valley, Tequila Valley. Tequila Valley is around 1,200 meters. That is the relation between lowlands and highlands. And then at Totonilco El Alto, Jalisco is in the star and black star that you can see. This is our facility. Then we build our distillery. When we started, yes.
I think that at least in the States, I think the common perception of the DO, the Denominación de Origen, is that it has to come from Jalisco, but it actually can be made in different areas outside of Jalisco that are sanctioned by the CRT, right? Because I think a lot of people here in the States think that, oh, it has to come from Jalisco, which the majority of it does come from Jalisco, but there are other areas where it's allowed to be made, correct?
Correct. It's exactly that you said. All Jalisco state produce tequila. It's possible, but only a few municipalities in another state, as Tamaulipas, Guanajuato, Nayarit.
Yeah.
Exactly. They have small municipalities. But you made a very good point.
Go ahead, sorry.
And then first to talking about tequila, we need to have to understand what is the categories. First, there are two categories to make tequila. One is tequila 100%, and what is the point here is the only sugar from agave is used to produce tequila. In case of the tequila, the single word is mixtos. You can blend 49% sugar from the other sources, like sugar cane, like molasses, honey, if you want, and 51% sugar from the agave. That's to need to understand this point. Tequila 100% and tequila or tequila mixto. Every category has 5 classes, right? The first one is the silver. All the tequila born as a silver. Then we have the joven or avocado or young or gold. Then reposado, at least 2 months in barrels. Añejo require at least 1 year, and extrañejo require 3 years in barrels to claim extrañejos tequilas. First, then can you move, please, Roberto? Let me say something so important here. But Tequila Patron produced tequila only tequila 100% agave. No mixtos, no tequila, but also no gold. What I mean gold? What I mean avocado or tequila, a single word, is as a tequila blanco, you can add some additives to change the characteristics of feature. We can use, in our case of the people to produce tequila gold, they can use caramel color, glycerin, oak extract, and sugar. That's the origin of the gold. Next one, Roberto, please. Talking about a Patron process, we need to start first, obviously, with the agave plant. First, the agave plant, we use a specific agave growers because we don't have enough agave. We have less than 5% in the fields, in our property. All the majority that we bought came from the agave produced by us. This requirement is specific for the quality because we need to have the specific sugar content, no more than 20% sugar content in the agave is equal like a bricks, specific signs of mature, but also require a specific time, at least 5 years, 6-8 months. That's our purpose. Why? It's so simple. To get a good product, we need to request or require the best agave quality. Then, and we start with the agave. Then, in our process, just
to go back Just to go back
Okay.
really quick, just because I don't know, obviously this is the first month with this club. I'm not sure what the knowledge is
Okay.
of our members.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about what the humidor here is doing as far as
Perfect. Okay.
trimming the pencas, the leaves off of the
Exactly.
agave, and then harvesting the heart of the agave or the piña? Can you just give us a little bit of information on exactly
Yes, sure.
what's going on there?
When we planted the agave, we need to wait 5.5 years, and then our jimadores is the guy to have to use this coa, because this soil is the coa, and then he need to remove the leaves, and that's why the only pineapple is that we use for the transformation to the tequila. Why we call pineapple? If you see, it looks like a pineapple, right? That's the the shape of the agave. If you see this jimador remove by this coa the leaves. The leaves is still in the field, and then the agave grower collect all this and need to clean to continue with the next generation of the agave plant.
And the
But
koa
it's-
is the tool he's using, right? That's the koa.
Exactly.
And there's
the
no
koa.
and there's no machines that can do this. It all has to be done by hand, right?
No, only by hand. Unfortunately, in the field, there is no machine to use it for harvest the agave up to now, because this is by hand. All the agave is by hand. All the tequila companies require or request the agave, but the jimadores use by hand only.
And how many piñas in one day can like the average humidor
Okay.
harvest?
200 and 250. It's a hard work. 250.
Yeah.
Because it's the
Gringos like me could only do like 20.
Let me see. The shift starts so early, at least 4-5 a.m. Why? Because it's not too much hot, you know. That's why we
Yeah.
need to start so early to have the crop and to harvest the agave. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. And then the first step in the tequila facilities is how we convert the sugar from the agave. I said that we request at least 20% sugar content in the agave. Those sugar are in the change. That's why we need to use a cook system to block all the chains, and that's why the sugar is alone. That is a good point, or very important point to in the next step to how extract and how we ferment it. It's important how the yeast need to transfer the sugar into the alcohols. Not only for the tequila industry is use sugars. For wine, for beer, for everything requires sugar to transform into the alcoholic beverage. In this slide, we can see how we cook the agave in brick ovens. Specific Patron use brick ovens. There are some another tequila producers that use autoclaves or your diffusers. Just to have in mind, in Tequila Patron, we spend 79 hours to cook in a slow way. The temperature that we get that is 100 centigrades, 100 centigrades around. 79 hours. We know add all the time water steam, just 24 hours, but we close the doors, and that's why the cook is in a slow way. In autoclaves, the people that use autoclaves, they cook the agave in a fast way, 24 hours. In the diffuser, this process is more, they use the agave row with the shredder machine. They need to put in piece, and they add water here to extract all the sugars. That is the difference. But the important point here for Patron, that we, when we cook the agave with this method, we obtain the best aromas and flavor of the agave. Next one, please. Okay, this is the first step in the tequila facilities. The second step is the milling. In Patron, we have two methods for milling the agave. When the agave is cooked, we need to, with the shredder machine, we need to send to the, by two methods, in Tajona's method and roller mill method. Can you move to the next one, please? Here you can see exactly that, the Tajonas. What do you mean Tajonas?
Where's the horse? Where's the horse?
No, we have horsepower there. Yes. If you see, we use Tajonas. Let me say Tajona. What does it mean Tajonas? Tajonas means is the place that you milling something. This equipment is used for milling some core, specific core in the past. Somebody, I would like to mill the agave. That's why they put inside. What's happening inside? If you see, it's a big volcanic rock stone. Is more than 2,000 tons. That's why when we, with the shredder machine, after we cook the agave, you see behind the Tajona, you can see the ovens. After the agave is ready, is cooked, we send the Tajonas only 7 tons, and then we need to put the agave in the correct way, and then we pass through the Tajonas over the agave fiber. That's why we crunch and we collect all the sugars and agave fibers.
What's the importance of what the Tajona is made out of, right? Because your Tajona is made out of volcanic rock. Why not just use like a steel wheel or something other than what's the significance of using a rock to crush the agave?
Very good question. It's because we need to want to maintain the traditional process. We can add here a steel tongue. Yes, it's true, but the purpose is how to preserve our traditional process by Tajona's method, right? Okay, the only change that we made, that you say, where is the mule? The mule is not here. Is the by machine. You can see behind in the left and the right side. Behind you can see the
no
horsepowers, no burro. Exactly. And then by another side, in roller mill, when we milling, we need to, with this shredder machine, the same, we pass through five roller mills. That's why we add water, and then the agave fiber absorb the water, and we milling, and that's why we obtain the agave juice. In here, that is important point for the next step in fermentation. In fermentation, you can see two different sub-clear here. First, in Tajona's method, we use the agave juice and fiber to ferment the tequila, to ferment the agave juice. And in roller mill, we use only agave juice, only. If you see, okay, what is the different, why you made this? Why is different? Our purpose to here is how we obtain different flavor. Okay, we use the same agave. We cook in the same time, 79 hours. We milling, okay, but when we fermenting with agave fiber, we at the end we will obtain specific aromas and flavor in the tequila.
And just to
What
be clear,
kind-
the fibers themselves are the solid part of when the agave is crushed, not the juice, the actual fibrous material that's left over after the agave is crushed. You're fermenting with that in some batches and then fermenting without it in different ones.
Perfect, exactly. What happened before that? We need to add, if you see, we fermented in pine wood, no stainless steel. Pine wood, and then first, before to receive the agave fiber, we add water, and then we send to the pine wood fermenter the fiber, and we mix it, and that's why you can see the agave fiber in the top. What happened really in the fermentation is a fermentation process to transform the sugar from the agave into the alcohols. In this reaction, there are so many things: produce heat, CO2, and obviously alcohol. That's why the CO2 move all the agave fiber in the top of the pine wood fermenter. That is an important point. That's why you can see the agave fiber in the top. If you see in the right side is only agave juice, you can see how is the CO2 is produced, and then all the aromas is different. You can see is more earthy flavor, more agave, cooked agave in the Tahona size than the roller mill size is more cooked agave, more vegetable, more citrus. That's a very good combination when you taste it in the tequila side by side, glass by glass, tequila from Tajonas and tequilas from rollers, you can see the difference. But at the end, what happened? Okay, the next step, obviously, we need to move for the next slide, please, Roberto.
So there's no fermentation that happens in stainless steel. It's all in wooden casks.
Exactly. All, if you see, all is in wood, pine wood. Why we use? Sorry.
Yeah. Why pine wood?
Exactly. Why? It's because this wood provide isolation for the environmental. Let me say I tell you that in the fermentation time produce three things: heat, CO2, and alcohols. The heat, unfortunately, is possible to keep the yeast, and that's why the pine wood absorb the old heat produced in the fermentation time, and that's why the behaviors and the yeast behavior is so much better than stainless steel. Some producer, you can see in the right side stainless steel fermenter, yes, but they need to use a specific system to reduce the temperature inside the mosto. That's the difference. The pine would not produce aromas and flavor, but the only key component is to reduce the heat to avoid the high temperatures and kill the yeast. That's the purpose of the fermentation. Okay.
And Patron has a proprietary yeast, I'd imagine?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And then when we fermented, for how long we need to spend another 3 days, 72 hours to produce tequilas or ferment by Tajonas and by roller. And then we move for distillation. In distillation, we need to distill this dead moss or mosto muerto to transform in two times. One is to distill in a specific copper pot still that you can see right now in the left side. Another producer use stainless steel, is in the next one. Some of them use column, or some of them use a combination between column and copper. Copper pot steel.
Just going back to the fermentation really quick, When you
Yes.
ferment with the fibers, is there added yeast cultures that potentially are on the fibers that help add? You said, is that what adds the more flavor to the fermented product, or is that not a factor?
No, it's not a factor because we have our own yeast that we put before the fermentation process, obviously, and then but you made a very good point because 70% of the flavors in the aromas, not only for the tequila, for beer, wine, whiskey, or anything, is produced by the yeast.
Yeah.
70% the aromas and flavor is produced by the yeast. The another 30% is for the process, for the distillation equipment, for how we cook the agave and everything. But the yeast is a key component in the tequila process. Here we have a specific copper pot still. The shape and the material is designed for our first master distiller, Francisco Alcaraz. But this is important because we need to use 2 distillations to transform the dead mosto muerto into ordinario, and then distill again, and then we obtain the tequila silver. Next one, Roberto. Up to here, let me say some important point. Before to move to the age our tequilas, next one, Roberto. When we started in 2002, when we receive a lot of demand for our product, we replicate every time to, if you take the numbers about you spend 79 hours for cooking, 3 hours for milling, 3 days, 72 hours for fermentation, and 1 day for distillation, is seven days. We need to maintain up to now our current process time, 7 days to transfer the sugar into the tequilas. For that reason, the Tequila Patron is the biggest tequila produced by Tajonas first, because nobody in the tequila industry produced tequila Tajonas in the tequila industry. We replicate every part of the equipment because this is a key component. Why? Because that's why we maintain our consistency, because our formula, our recipe is since the beginning. When we started at Totonilco, El Alto, Jalisco in 2002, we maintained the same recipe. When Francisco gave me the recipe of Tequila Patron, we maintain the same recipe up to now. 7 days. It's small batches and only 3 ingredients: agave, water, and yeast. That's it. Next one, please. Well, this is the aging time. When we finish our tequila, you can, I mentioned before that we have in Patron only 4 classes of tequila: silver, reposado, añejo, and extrañejo. To make those reposado, añejo, and extrañejo, we use this type of barrels. In case of tequila in specific that you have in front of you, we use the American whiskey, Charret. For how long? For 19 months. That is a good component that we have in the tequila, because it's important when we receive some people to buy our barrel select program. They choose the specific aromas and flavors that they want. Maybe they request some añejos, some reposados, or a combination between reposados and añejo. But in our case, you can select the tequila añejo, 18 months in whiskey use barrel.
Yeah, and then just to peel the curtain back a little bit for our members on how these selections happen, you know, I would love to go down to Mexico and do these selections in person, and hopefully as this club develops, that may be a possibility. But typically, even with our whiskey club and now our agave club, Patron sends me a bunch of samples to choose from, and then I narrow it down to what I think is the best barrel. So this truly is a hand-selected barrel for our club. You're not going to find this is one barrel. This will not be replicated ever again. So this is truly unique.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be the same. It'll be similar to Patron Añejo that you'd buy off the shelf, but it's going to have different flavors and characteristics that are specific to this one individual barrel that you're never going to get ever again. So what everyone has here is something that will never be produced again, as an exclusive to our club, and that's what we're planning on doing every single month in this club, is featuring these exclusive barrel picks of different tequilas that are going to be only you can get at the La Popular Agave Club.
But you made a very good point. In our tequila regular añejo, we spend 15 months only. You 19, but we use 80% whiskey use barrel and 20% brand new. That is the difference. You use it only whiskey use barrel. You are unique in this case.
We like unique. Thank you,
Yes.
David.
And then when we finish the process, obviously we need to send this tequila after filtration and everything to our bottling line, because in bottling line we have the specific people to they put the label by hand. All the tequilas by Patron is labeled by hand. That is an important point that we have in our team in bottling area. And let me tell something regarding to the additives that.
We're getting into the juicy stuff here.
Yes. In our case, I mentioned before, we use only 3 ingredients: agave, water, and yeast. The 4th element is wood in case of the barrels. Yes, this is only Patron. But according with the regulation, according with the standard in Mexico, it's possible to use additives. To what? To obtain aromas and flavor that unfortunately they don't obtain it in the process. That's when it's possible to add caramel color to change obviously the characteristic to make a gold tequila. The glycerin to be more smooth the tequila. The another is sugar. It's possible no more than 1% for those additives, and oak extract. This is another situation that in Patron natural ways to obtain the tequila, not to add something else. It's all natural.
I think it's important for, I know there's a lot of controversy and about the additive-free conversation, and Patron is 100% additive-free, and you guys have had some recent challenges with getting that message out there. I know that for a fact. But I think what I want our members to know is that, yeah, you can be certified additive, or you can be, in order to be, have tequila on the label, it have to have less than 1% additives. But what I always say is that anybody that's used vanilla extract before knows that you can use very little vanilla extract and get a lot of flavor out of it. So I'm a big advocate for additive-free tequila. That's one of the big reasons why we chose to feature Patron as one of our first partners. But the reality is that you can put less than 1% of some of these flavorings in there and still drastically alter the flavor of the product. So just because you may have a tequila that's less than 1% additives, and they don't have to disclose that, it's still that even adding less than 1%, if they're using something like glycerin or vanilla extract, it's going to drastically alter the flavor of the tequila.
Yes, but also according with the regulation, if you no more than 1%, you cannot put in the label. If you put more than 1%, you need to put in the label, right? That's the point.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No problem. Right now we have our current products. Obviously is the silver tequila, reposado, añejo tequila, extra añejo tequila. One of the recently launched that we made is in PATRÓN Cristalino. That is a PATRÓN Cristalino. Is a tequila, our regular tequila añejo. At the end, we filtered by wood charcoal, and that's why we obtain PATRÓN Cristalino. The next one is your baby, my friend, Trevor, is the PATRÓN Barrel Select. I mentioned before, is a type of barrel that we use here is whiskey use barrel. For how long? 19 months. Beautiful color, because I like it, because if you compare this tequila when the añejo is completely different, right? Because we use for our own tequila or regular tequila, brand new barrels. That's why they provide different colors in the bottle.
Can we pause there just for a minute, David? I just want to just go over some tasting notes on this particular one that I was able to put together for our club.
Perfect.
So if you're joining us live and you're in the chat, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, and you're tasting your tequila, we always encourage you to share your tasting notes. Just because my tasting notes say what it tastes like, everyone's different. I think one of the biggest parts of tasting or learning to develop your palate and learning new tasting notes is tasting in a group, because I may taste something that you don't taste at all, or maybe I taste something and I'll say a word and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was looking for. Yes, I tasted, I couldn't put my finger on it. So if you're joining us live and you're tasting this tequila with us tonight, please comment in the comment section what you're tasting. Everyone did get their card. I have just a printout of it, but everyone got a card. You'll get a card every month for the tequila that we're featuring that tells you about the tequila. It gives you the tasting notes, but that doesn't limit what the tasting notes are. The goal of this club is for you to taste new things, develop your palate, obviously connect with great people in the industry, connect with other agave lovers, and really come on this journey of agave spirits with us. So I just want to take a minute just to talk about what I'm getting. And the fun thing about spirits tasting to me is that I may taste a bottle and then put tasting notes down and then come back to it a week later, come back to it a month later, and just get completely different things, because the bottle may have opened up with the introduction of oxygen into the bottle over time. So tasting is a fluid process. It develops over time, and it's obviously the part we all enjoy the most, because we want to drink the tequila and enjoy the flavor, and the social aspect of drinking tequila in a group is always fun. I know we're joining everyone virtually, but we hope that you can come to our happy hour next Thursday at all the restaurants to meet all the other members. We've already done one already, but I'll just get into my tasting notes on this. I mean, right off the bat, you get a lot of cooked agave right off the nose. And to me, that's one of the biggest, components of an additive-free tequila is you want the cooked agave to shine. And if you don't know what cooked agave smells like or tastes like, that's what tequila tastes like. That's what the primary flavor profile of the spirit is. So I get a lot of earthiness off of this. I'm getting a little bit of barnyard, and that's probably coming from those fibers that in the fermentation process. I get a lot of those barrel characteristics. And when I say barrel characteristics, I'm talking about vanilla, caramel, things at the barrel, especially the whiskey barrel in this particular instance. 19 months in a whiskey barrel, like David said, that's 4 extra months than what their typical añejo is aged in. So those characters are going to come through a little bit more with the additional aging of 4 months. I get like toasted oak, honey, a little bit of baking spices, maybe some nutmeg or cinnamon. And then obviously the best part, tasting it.
Salud.
Yeah, salud. Super savory, bright. That cooked agave shines. I get a lot of butterscotch here. That kind of honey, not like cloyingly sweet honey. I'm talking like fresh, local field honey, kind of bright, citrusy almost. And obviously that oak characteristics, the subtle oak tannins kind of help finish it off, maybe dry the palate out just a little bit and make you want to go back for that extra sip. So just a phenomenal tequila altogether. Again, this particular barrel is going to be unique because it's a single barrel. You're not going to get this off the shelf. Like David said, it's an extra 4 months of aging. So I'm not sure if anybody was able to throw into the comments what they're tasting, but if you haven't already, feel free to throw it out there what you're tasting. And I just wanted to highlight this particular expression that we're enjoying this evening. And David, I'll pass it back to you to go through the rest of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Trevor. Just to let you know that you describe very good your nose and your palate, the tequila. This is a very good, you have a very good sensibility, very good
Thank
nose.
you, I appreciate it.
Okay. Next one, please. Obviously, we have another tequilas in the Prestige line. Trevor mentioned at the beginning that the winner for this, we can obtain the Patrón El Alto bottle. This is Patrón El Alto bottle. Is a tequila. Is the first time that Patrón blend tequilas reposados, añejos, and extrañejos. This is Tequila El Alto. Tequila El Cielo is the tequila with 4 distillation. Not only, I don't know if you remember tequila Gran Patrón Platinum, but Gran Patrón Platinum is 3 distillation. In case of the Patrón El Cielo is 4 distillation. It's a very smooth and sweetness tequila. And this is all for my side, my friend.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Your expertise is beyond appreciated. We hope that everyone enjoyed learning a little bit about the Hacienda PATRÓN, the PATRÓN spirits, and particularly the barrel select that we're doing now. I'm not going to get too much into this. We will develop this as these calls happen, but we are putting together a playlist. For me, I'm a big music lover. I love putting on a record or putting on a playlist while sipping on a new spirit, and kind of just an experience. I feel like music and spirits kind of go hand in hand. So we will be putting together a La Popular Agave Club playlist that we hope to develop over time and add songs to every month. That way you can enjoy your bottle each month and listen to the new songs that are chosen by our esteemed guest and myself. So we have some songs that we are going to be adding. Again, we're going to wait a few months before we launch the playlist, just because if I give you a playlist with 3 songs on it, it's not much of a playlist. But the songs we're adding this month, Can everyone hear me? Hello.
Hello, Trevor. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You know what? I think it was my fault. I think my microphone died. I was like, what is happening? Audio is back. Sorry, everyone. I apologize for that. My microphone died. So I just took it off. So I don't know what everyone heard me say last, but we're just going to get into some questions from the audience to give away some prizes. So Mayra de la Torre asks, how do you maintain consistency at Patron year after year despite natural variation in agave?
Yes, it's a very good point. The natural variation between the season, because we harvest all the year, we have different agave in the first, let me say, months than at the end. It's true, or in the middle. Or why we can eliminate this variation is because we have a range between the components. What happens exactly? If we have the variation in the agave raw material, the yeast can produce a little more different components. That is a very good point. But we have a range that we accepted. That's why we need to very focus in our process to identify or avoid any problem in fermentation times.
Awesome. Jorge Dominguez asks, why are there so many tequila companies losing credibility due to the additives? What does Patron do to ensure the tequila is not made with additives?
Well, our philosophy or DNA to make the tequila is to make the traditional tequila with the natural method. That's an ancestral method. If some tequila producers use different methods, different, let me see, ingredients, we respect those guys. The point here is we never say that the additives are bad. Because the currently the government permit that those additives. We try to maintain our current process, the traditional process, handmade process. That's the origin of our DNA.
Awesome. I'm trying to see the other question here. CeeLo asks, what food would you say best pairs with this añejo? Christian Lopez is his name, but he goes by CeeLo.
For tequila añejo, I am not a sommelier because they combine the tequilas.
What do you like? Just tell us what you like.
Oh, I love the silver. I love the silver because I like to taste the agave plant. But in case of the añejo, what is the difference? But it's a very good question. When you combine wine with food, first, the wine is 12% alcohol, right? It's 24 proof or something like this. In case of the tequila, is 40%, 80 proof. When you tasted the food and combine the beverage, how you taste it is different. That's why it's important if you taste it, for example, tequila, add water in case of the just ice to reduce the proof of the percentile alcohol. And then, okay, I have my, let me say, añejo on the rocks, maybe 20%. When we add water, still water or mineral water or sparkling water or something like this. And then what kind of food? I think is for meat is a very good combination, especially for the meat with a very good portion, like a steak, like a ribeye or something like this, right?
I mean, you can't go wrong with the ribeye, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of things pair really well with the ribeye. So you give me this, the Patron Añejo with a beautiful ribeye. I think that is a chef's kiss.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful pairing. All right. Well, we are just starting this club, so we had just a few limited questions this time around. We hope that the club continues to grow. If you're a member, please tell your friends, and we hope to grow this community. And we have 3 questions tonight, so I would love for you to tell me your favorite 2 of the evening, and then I'll choose the first and second place winner. But we have the question from Myra about the consistency year to year despite natural variation in agave. We have the question from Jorge about the question about the additives and what does Patron do to ensure that their tequila is made not with additives. And then we have the question from CeeLo about the food pairing. Do you have 2 out of those 3 questions that you liked the best?
I think the first one is the best for me, because she understood very well the variation between the season. Is a very important point. Because why it's so important? Because every lot that we launch it, I need to taste it, and every tequila by month, let me see, and you can see the difference. But it is a very good question for me. It's the first one.
And then
Second one?
then I'll choose the second one. I'll choose the one about additives. I think that was the best question. So
yes,
those are our winners for tonight. We have Myra will be receiving the first place prize, which is the signed bottle from David Rodriguez, the Master Distiller of Patron. It's their Patron Alto Reposado. And then Jorge will be sending you this bottle of Patron Cristalino, also signed by David. And both prizes will receive some additional swag. David, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. I know it's probably a little bit later where you are than where we're here in California, but my sincere gratitude for your time and your knowledge and educating us on all things Patron. And we look forward to continuing to serve Patron in our restaurants and highlight the amazing spirit that you and your team cultivate every day. So appreciate it. Salud.
Salud. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Until next time, Agave Club members, we'll see you next week for the January pickup on the 15th. Hopefully you're able to join us for the happy hour, and tell your friends. Let's build this community and enjoy agave spirits together. So hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Salud. Good night. Appreciate it.
Salud.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.